Hello, tubers and tubettes. My name is David, and I live in Northern California. I love California. Lived here all my life. It's a great place to live and work, and I'm in the pool industry. So today I wanted to talk to you about a little sidestep I had in my employment record where I work for a pool company called Aqua Pool and Spa. So they were our competitors for many years, and it got to the point where they knew who I was, so I could see that they were actually targeting me. Whenever I was out there selling pools, they would always be a lot lower than me. I think they would just say, "Oh, Dave is on the other side in this competition," and they would just try to kill me with the price, and they were pretty good about it. And then at some point I ended up getting a call from the owner of this other company, and he wanted to see if we could meet, and he just wanted to have a little sit down, which is kind of unusual. I talked to the owner of the company that I work for, and I told him about the sit down because I don't want to do anything behind his back. And he said, "Oh no, I think it's good. I think it's great that you do that, because maybe we can find out how they're able to do this. You know, their pricing's so low." So I went over and I met with them, Richard and his son-in-law, and they actually asked if I wouldn't mind bringing my wife. I think that was on the second appointment. So the first appointment I went, I just sat down with them. They showed me their display center, which was a multi-million-dollar place. They probably had 10 or 11 pools. I remember they had all these pumps and filters running these pools, and it was pretty impressive. You know, it was very, very impressive. But I don't know how there could be that much money in the pool industry. And their main push was that they have all their own employees, maybe like 350 employees there. And so as I looked around, it was very impressive. And then at the very end of it, they sat down and they said, "Hey, you know, we would love to have you come over and be a part of this sales force." And I said, "Well, you know, I have to talk it over with my wife and everything." And they go, "You know, we thought you might say that. We heard you've been married for a long time." And I had. And I said, "Yeah, I kind of don't make any decisions without talking it over with my wife." They said, "Well, we would like to try to get together with you maybe on a Saturday. And if it's possible, maybe your wife could come with you." And so I was like, "I can ask her." So I asked my wife, and she was like, "That's kind of weird." I go, "Well, I know that these guys are kind of religious. They're Jehovah's Witness, and they believe in the whole family concept." So we went over to their office, which was very, very impressive. The store was super impressive. And we went and jumped into his car, which is like a really nice, like a Cadillac Escalade. And we drove around to different pools that they had built. And some of these pools were just so outrageous. I had just never seen anything like it. I remember looking at one pool, it was like $325,000, because they not only did the pool, but they did everything else. Outdoor kitchens, you know, they did fireplaces, fire pits, they did landscaping, they did pretty much everything. And so it was impressive, and my wife was impressed too. So we went on that tour with them, and then when I came back, they said, "We would like to have you come over, you know, in a couple of weeks, if that would work for you." And that was really tough, because I had to go back to the owner, who I'd been working with for a long time, and saying, "I think I'm going to go to this other place." I did like it. It was pretty impressive, and I don't even understand how they can do the pricing lower than us. So I did end up quitting. He didn't make a big deal about it. He just said, "If you ever want to come back, you're more than welcome. You know, you're more than welcome to come back." And so I said, I really appreciate that. And so I went over there and I worked with them for 4 years. At first it was kind of hard, because a lot of the salesmen there, there were 22 salesmen. They just didn't accept me right away. But over a period of time, we got to know each other. And I had one of our salesmen from our company had already gone over there. his name was Terry, and he's the one that helped me get the job over there. He was telling him how great I was, so that was really nice to have one familiar person. And then I ran into a lot of the people who I really enjoyed. They're super nice. They weren't the tough salesmen. I think it was set up more that you could bring customers in there, and then the place, the showroom, would be what sold the people. So I think that's what their angle was. I came in and they gave me a high commission, so that was good. And then I just started selling stuff. I was selling like crazy. It was pretty easy to sell. I would get them down. I would get them together down to the design center, and it pretty much would sell itself. So after working there for a while, I come to figure out that I didn't think they have a clue of what their cost was, because when you have your own employees, it's hard to control cost, because they can tell on their schedule when they're not getting a bunch of pulls. So if you had a tile guy, for instance, I remember there was a situation with the tile crew that they could see they only had one job for the week. So they'd come over and they'd set it up to go out there on a Monday. They drove all the way up to the site in a big truck. And when they got there, it was like, oh, we forgot to bring the tile. So we could do, lay the foundation for the tile, but we're going to have to go back to get the tile. So the guys went back. One guy drove all the way back, got the tile, brought it back up there, but they ran out of time. So they're going to have to come back on another day. And so this went on and on, not just with tile, but excavation, gunite, everything that they did in-house. And so that's why I'm saying I don't think it was easy for them to control their costs. The way we work it is we use subcontractors. And you say, I'm going to pay you $1,200 to put the tile on, and we don't care how long it takes you to do it. You're only getting $1,200. You see, so it caps the cost on it. So it's a much easier way to make sure that you've got limitations on the cost. And then a lot of times we would have the guys go out there, and it was almost the opposite. They would want to get the job done quickly so that they can move on to the next job. But then there were also times in the winter where it was just pouring rain, and where Aquapool and Spa had to maintain at least a core crew of their main guys so that they could have them for the next season. We didn't have that issue at all. In fact, if there wasn't anything being sold, we didn't have to pay anybody, because these were subcontractors. A lot of them had worked with us for over 40 years, so that was the key, is not to use the cheapest guys, but to use good guys. And not to have just one crew or one company, but have 3 companies, so you're 3 deep. And then some companies can do anything. They're able to do any part of it. And then other companies, they're kind of new, so they can do a simple pool, but you don't want to put them on a big custom pool. And that's kind of how it's ran when it's with subcontractors. And so that was a big difference, between us and them. And so finally, I remember one day, I was just getting a strange feeling about the owner. I've been texting him or calling him. He's not returning my text. And I remember just feeling like something's going on here. I'm not really sure what it is, but something is going on. And so at that point, I decided to just take my computer, which was a tower, and I took my refrigerator and a bunch of other stuff out of my office, and I put it in my car one day, and they even asked me, what are you doing? I just wanted to take some of this back and set it up in my home office, and I'll bring another computer. Oh, okay. So I got all my stuff out of there, and it was just a gut feeling. I don't know, it's hard to explain. But then I was selling pools. I was actually on a sales appointment where a customer from another that I had sold earlier, he called me up and he said, hey, I just saw the owner of your company. He's on television. Have you seen that yet? And I go, no, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, he's on the television. So as soon as I could get out of there, I looked it up, and he had gotten on the television and said that, the loan that they had for operating expense was being called in, And so as of right now, the company is closing down. And so I was just as shocked as everybody else. I never seen an owner do that. Usually the owner will not say anything and just keep going on and on and on, you know, taking money and whatever. But he was trying to be very honest about it, and so that was the beginning of the end. And probably happened about 2 weeks after I took my computer out. And I remember going there one day, and we were all standing outside, 350 people, waiting for them to open the gate. And they came out and they said, here are the checks for everybody that's a wage earner, and I'm not. I was straight commission. And we're going to pay you up full, because that's actually required under California law. So they did. And then we're like, well, what's going on with us? And so I went and talked to them, and I finally got a hold of the son, not the father. And I did talk to the father, actually, because when we were standing there talking, he said, yeah, I'm really sorry, Dave, we're going out of business, and I'm not able to pay you. You know, it was $60,000 that they owed me. I'm not able to pay you the money that we said, and then some of those jobs are, you know, are going to fall through because we're going to be out of business. And real quickly, I just thought to myself, I said, well, can I have that? He goes, what? I go, that it was like a little Japanese granite temple, you know, for a garden. I remember they were selling them for like $2,000 or $3,000. I go, can I have that? And he goes, yeah, if you can get it out of here, you can have it. I said, are you sure? And he goes, yeah. I said, well, let me tell your son. So I told the son, and he goes, okay, I'll help you load it. So I had my truck with me. I wanted to take a picture of this Japanese lantern. It's all made out of marble. It's super, super heavy. And I got it from one of my old employers that couldn't pay me money. He actually owed me a lot of money, but just happened to be standing close to this, and I said, well, why don't you give me this? I'll take this. And he said, if you can get it out of here, you can have it. So I ended up taking it. I really do like it. The reason it's parked here in front of my house is we couldn't get it any further. This base down here is massively heavy. So I've always thought, well, someday I'll get it to the back, but just never have done it yet. So it looks good here when the Japanese maple is in bloom. But of course, it's kind of open to someone being able to mess with it. And it's just stacked together. And then this is an opening in the back where you can put a candle or a light inside there. Just never have done it, but I just loved it when I first saw it. I know they were selling them for $4,500. It's all made out of granite, green granite, and it's all hand carved. You can see the carving marks on it. So to me, it's super cool. But it's a memory of a bad memory, because they owed me a lot more than this. But at least I got something out of it, right? And I love the way that they did this weaving on the front here. I just love the look of that. This took a little bit of time. I only noticed it because I was looking at this little crack here, but it's not a crack, it's just a surface check. So anyway, someday I do need to get it to my backyard, but it's going to be hard to get it back there, and I'm going to have to hire some strong dudes. Oh, it's interesting. I had my truck with me, I backed it up. We got a big refrigerator dolly, and we loaded it, and we loaded all the pieces into my truck. And then I did go to the labor commissioner and try to file a claim against them, but because I was straight commission, I couldn't get anything. So I did get that Japanese lantern, and I'm going to put that on this video so you can see. It's really cool, but it has a good meaning to me that I got it, but it also has a bad meaning that it was the end of Aqua Pool and Spa. So anyway, I wanted to share that, and it was a bad experience after 4 years, but during the 4 years, it was great. You know, I got to go to Costa Rica, got to go to a couple of trips and stuff. So that part of it was nice, but man, when they're big, they collapse big too. So thanks for finding me. I hope you'll subscribe so that we'll be able to stay in contact with each other. And And have a great day.